Aryna Sabalenka says what she doesn't like about playing in Australia ahead of the Brisbane International. Aryna Sabalenka is set for a star-studded Brisbane International before she descends upon the Australian Open at the end of the month. The world number one is one of 7 top 10 seeds who are making the Brisbane International their first tournament of the year. Sabalenka will also play doubles in Brisbane as she begins a campaign looking for the 5th Grand Slam of her career. The star has opened up about her thoughts on playing in Australia, including one particular aspect she is not fond of. Aryna Sabalenka is not a fan of the Australian heat. Sabalenka arrives in Australia at the height of their summer, but the high temperatures are something the world number one struggles with. Asked if she likes playing in Australia, Sabalenka replied, "I definitely don't like the heat, but the people, yeah. I think the atmosphere, it's always a full crowd in Brisbane. Everyone really engages a lot with tennis. Also in Melbourne, the support there is incredible. I'm always super motivated when I come to Australia," she said, asked if last year's defeat to Keys was added incentive this time. "Of course, remembering last year's final, I really want to do just a little bit better than I did last year. It's a tough draw, a lot of great players. It's a lot of matches before hitting the Australian Open." Sabalenka received a bye in the first round of the Brisbane International, and she will play either Christina Buxa or a qualifier in the second round. Aryna Sabalenka's incredible record in Australia. The world number one might struggle with the heat down under, but it has rarely affected the star's results in the country. Sabalenka won the Adelaide International in 2023, right before she went on to lift her very first Australian Open title. The star followed the same trajectory in 2025, but this time opted to play the Brisbane International instead, where she lifted the trophy. Sabalenka also won the Australian Open in 2024 and reached the final of the Grand Slam in 2025. The only player to beat Sabalenka at the Australian Open in the past 3 years is Madison Keys. The world number one also lifted the Australian Open doubles title in 2021, alongside longtime doubles partner Elise Mertens. Sun, Sweat and Sabalenka. A creative look at what the world number one doesn't like about playing in Australia. There's something almost mythical about the start of the tennis season in Australia. Every January, as summer grips the southern hemisphere, the world's best players touch down in Brisbane, Adelaide and Melbourne with fresh goals, repaired bodies and the promise of a new chapter. For some, it's a paradise of sunshine, opportunity and loyal crowds. For others, well, not quite. At the very top of the women's game stands Aryna Sabalenka, the world number one, a 3-time Grand Slam champion, and one of the most powerful forces in tennis. Talented, bold, unfiltered and competitive to her core, she approaches her sport with intensity and passion few can rival. And yet, even the fiercest competitors have things they struggle with. As she prepared for the 2026 Brisbane International, Sabalenka was recently asked a simple question: what does she not like about playing in Australia? Her answer struck a chord, not because it was controversial, but because it was so human. "I definitely don't like the heat," she said. Yardbarker. In those few words lies a world of context. The fierce Queensland sun, scorching court temperatures that can push athletes to their limits, and the unique physical demands of competitive play in the height of an Australian summer. The heat that tests champions. Australia in January is not for the faint-hearted. Brisbane's intense warmth, paired with high humidity, creates an environment that pushes even the fittest athletes to their limits. Tennis players suit up under the blazing sun, rally after rally, set after set, often feeling the air itself is part of the opponent. Most players will politely complain about conditions. Sabalenka, though, is refreshingly candid. She doesn't sugarcoat the impact the heat has on her body and focus, on long training sessions, on match day preparation, and on recovery. There's no drama in her tone, just honesty. For someone who thrives on power and intensity, harsh conditions are something she must adapt to, not something she relishes. And yet, this admission is also revealing. It says that even elite athletes, with exceptional strength and fitness, have environments that challenge them, environments that make them feel alive, tested, and not always comfortable. For Sabalenka, the heat doesn't dampen her drive, but she certainly doesn't love it. More than sunshine, the Australian atmosphere. Yet Sabalenka's complex relationship with Australia doesn't end with the weather. In the same breath she mentioned the heat, she also praised the atmosphere, especially in Brisbane. But the people, yeah, I think the atmosphere, it's always a full crowd. Everyone really engages a lot with tennis. Also in Melbourne, the support there is incredible. Malay male. This is a woman who understands the power of a crowd, the electricity of cheering fans, the buzz of packed stands, the feeling of connection between player and spectators. For an athlete whose tennis often relies on unleashing power and passion, that engagement, that human energy, isn't just welcome, it's essential. Imagine the Brisbane International Week, bright summer days, courts full of cheering fans, children pointing at their heroes and commentators buzzing about upsets, surprise runs, or new rivalries. In that environment, Sabalenka feels the pulse of tennis, the sport as a communal celebration. And while the mercury climbs, the energy only grows. So while she openly says she doesn't like the heat, she quickly balances that with praise for the crowds, evidence that her heart is warmed by how Australians support the sport that she loves. Memory, motivation, and the long tennis journey. Sabalenka's connection to Australia is deeper than surface impressions of weather and crowds. It is rooted in competition, history, and personal memory. In 2025, she captured the Brisbane International title, a moment that stands out as both professional success and emotional motivation. Yardbarker, but that season also included a narrow loss at the Australian Open, a match that, while tough to lose, became part of her narrative of hunger, learning, and growth. Malay male. Her comments convey respect and affection for the country. She openly says she loves the support, and that she always feels motivated when she comes to Australia. Malay male. There is a fascinating contrast in how Sabalenka frames her relationship with Australia. On the one hand, the climate is challenging, I don't like the heat. On the other hand, the overall experience is rewarding, she loves the atmosphere, the crowds, and the way the tennis spirit thrives there. Imagine Sabalenka walking onto a hard court in Brisbane just after sunrise, racket in hand, sun climbing higher, humidity rising. She knows the conditions will be tough. She also knows the fans in the stands will be loud, passionate, and ready to celebrate every point. That duality reflects the essence of elite sport: challenge and reward, discomfort and excitement, human limitations and fierce determination. Beyond the heat, a competitor's real test. The story of Sabalenka in Australia is more than just about the weather. It's about how she performs when pushed, how she turns challenge into opportunity,